Hey friends, welcome back to the channel. Guess what? It's been a year. I know, I can't believe it either. It's actually been a little bit more than a year. Let's do a one-year review on this 2021 Toyota Tundra, the Platinum Edition here. I'll tell you what I like. I'll tell you several things I don't like, by the way. But overall, it's gonna be a thumbs up. I really love this truck. And also, I'll discuss a little bit why I decided to pull the trigger on the 2021. And I have an opportunity to sell this and think about a 2022. And maybe you can kindly put some comments and I'll make an argument at the end of this video on why I might trade it in or I might keep it. But hey, let's talk about the positive things first and foremost. So there it is, the 5.7 liter V8, the tried and true of Toyota's engines, which they have several, right? They've got a 4-cylinder, a 6-cylinder, and this 8-cylinder here that basically lasts forever as long as you put in oil, do that kind of stuff. You're gonna get 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 miles, maybe even more than that. And that's one of the main reasons I did buy this. It's smooth, it sounds fantastic, and no, it's only been 16,000 miles, so I'm gonna say there hasn't been any problems with it. There better not be any problems with it, right? When I think about a Toyota and why I'd buy that engine, it's not the first 100,000 miles. I feel like any new vehicle should go the first 100,000 miles without problems. Here's where you can put your Ford, Dodge joke in right there, maybe even Chevy too. But my point is the 200,000, 300,000 miles, that's the reason we get this engine. That's the reason you go with Toyota, at least in my opinion. And of course, this is mated to the 6-cylinder, to the 6-speed transmission. Again, that 6-speed transmission is one Toyota has been using for a long time. The good and bad about that transmission, well, the engine and the transmission are what we're going to call bulletproof, right? They should be as reliable as you can possibly get. The bad news about that transmission is it's a little bit, how do you say? It's not the smoothest shifting transmission out there. It's not. You kind of get used to it and you kind of like learn how to sort of feather the gas in certain situations to sort of help the transmission. I know that sounds weird, but that's kind of what I find. And also don't forget, I've got that 2013 Toyota Sequoia and I found the same thing. This is the same transmission that's in that. I think this one may have been, you know, computer whatever changed a tiny bit, but basically it's the same transmission. And again, we buy them, at least in my opinion, because they are bulletproof. So engine, transmission, loving them so far. Also, I love the color. I was not 100% sure this is the color I was going to go with, but I have to say I'm absolutely loving it. So this is the metallic gray, and this is the same color that I have in the Sequoia. This one seems a little bit darker. Maybe that's just fading. Again, the 2021, so you get a lot of the bells and whistles that you don't get on some of the older ones. Like if you just go back a couple years, you have like the radio antenna on there and a few things like that that seem a little bit dated. Coming around to the back of the truck, and if you look closely, you can see a couple of the dings I've already put in it. A little one the wife put in there, but we won't remind her of that. And this mat back here is just to throw the mountain bikes in real quick, by the way. But everything else I'm loving. By the way, this does have the locking tailgate, which in my opinion is if you're gonna buy one, either buy it with that already installed or get the one that you can, or get an aftermarket one that you can install. It's really, really nice, especially I'm thinking about putting a shell on this. And when you put the shell on it, then you can lock and unlock the keys or lock and unlock the tailgate just off your keys. Very simple, very nice and easy, makes it convenient. So again, loving the truck. It's been a year and I promised myself that I would throw some money at the wheels, tires, and suspension. I have not done it yet, I know. I'm kind of kicking myself. I do have the money set aside. I would like to do that, but it just hasn't happened yet. So let's take a look on the inside, and while we do that, I'll tell you my top 3 things that I'm really loving about this truck. So at the Platinum level, you get these heated and cooled seats. These are the most comfortable you can get in this truck, right? These are a little bit nicer than the Limited, a little bit nicer than the TRD Pro. And of course, those are a little bit nicer than the SR5, which you can get in a cloth or also in a pleather, which is closer to plastic in my opinion. But I'm loving this. I like the headset. I'll give you a complaint. The Wi-Fi, when you hook up the Wi-Fi, you have to turn it on every single time you start the engine. And if you forget to turn it on, it won't let you do that once you start rolling, once you're driving. So you have to stop the truck each time you want to turn on the Wi-Fi. And I'll tell you, it drives me absolutely crazy when I forget. So something I'm really liking is the cross traffic alert when you're going to back up. And I'll show you what that looks like right now. That RCTA in green on there, that is the rear cross traffic alert. Lets you know, and it starts beeping at you if there's a car or a pedestrian or a dog or a bicyclist coming. It starts beeping to let you know. Super handy. I really like this feature. A second thing that I'm really enjoying about this truck is the blind spot monitoring. So that little green BSM. So when someone's in your blind spot, there's a little orange light that comes on your mirrors. It is super handy, especially for a truck like this. Our Sequoia, I wish it had it on there. In my opinion, this is a feature that should be on all of the trim levels. It's really a nice safety feature. Do you still have to look over your shoulder, double check that someone's in that lane before you change lanes? Of course you do. But it kind of double checks you and really makes it so it's a little bit more confident when you go to change lanes. Really nice feature, and it works really well. Next on the things that I love about this truck, this back window, I use it almost every time I drive. I usually don't put the window all the way down, but I do crack it. Let's take a look at that. The rear window right here, which is absolutely fantastic. Push that down, the rear window goes down. The only truck that I see that has that. So as far as having a dog and maybe putting a shell on the back of the truck, which I might do, being able to roll down that window, I think that's super cool. I've never seen a truck that has the entire window that goes down like this, goes down and up really nice and easy. And for me, if you crack it about 3 inches, something like that right there, and I put my window down as a driver, it really makes it nice as far as the wind coming in, just feels perfect. As you can see, I put the Husky floor liners in here, and these are really, really nice. So I've had those for about 6, 7, 8 months, something like that. Really, really like that a lot, especially with the kids and the mud and the dirt and the snow and the whatever else you're gonna get on there. I'll put a link down to those in the description if you wanna check them out. I did put on this running board as well. This one right here, I'll put a link to this one too. I think this is the Toyotas. I think they call it the Classic Black or Flat Black, something like that. I'll put a link down in the description to that one too. I like it. My plan though is to go with the Go Rhino one, which is a little bit more tough and rugged. And I think I'll switch over to that one when I do, hopefully when I do put on some tires, put on some wheels, and push up the suspension by a little bit. Still trying to decide if I'm gonna go Bilstein on that one or Fox suspension or exactly what I'm gonna do on it. I'm not looking at pushing this truck way up in the air, but maybe something along the lines of like a leveling kit, but leveling it with some nice suspension. Hopefully that's gonna be the case. Hey, want me to tell you one more thing that I love about the truck that I'm surprised because this used to be something I was worried about. This is the 5.5 foot bed. I found that I absolutely love the 5.5 foot bed. If we're taking out paddle boards to bring to the lake, it works perfect. And one of them's pretty long. And mountain bikes, anything we're going to put back here, it seems to do great. One of the reasons why the 2022 is now on its way out, and they do have it with the 5.5 foot bed and the 6.5 foot bed. I don't know if I was going to buy this truck, the 2022, I don't know for sure if I'd go with the 6.5 foot bed or the 5.5 foot bed. Here's the reason why. The turning radius on this is not quite as good as our Sequoia. On the Sequoia, the wheelbase is a little bit closer together, and the turning radius on the Sequoia is ridiculously good. And it's a very nice thing. If you've ever driven a truck, like a longer one that has a poor turning radius, it's a pain in the neck, it really is. This one is, I'm gonna call it like pretty good. The Sequoia is like amazing, but as you get to longer and longer vehicles, like I had a F250 that was a long bed with the, no, I'm sorry, it was a short bed with the crew cab, and that one had a terrible turning radius, and it was kind of a pain in the neck. So you had to do like 3-point turns and 5-point turns and all kinds of crazy stuff. But I'm really liking the 5.5 foot bed. I'm no longer in the construction world, so really the bed of the truck is just for recreation, like I said, from paddle boards, throwing in strollers, putting in mountain bikes, and it just works fantastic for that. So let's change gears here. I'm gonna tell you a couple things I'm not loving about the truck. Now I already talked about the Wi-Fi, and it's a pain in the neck. I really don't like it at all. It seems like it would be an easy software fix, but whatever, we'll move on from that one. See the door handle? So the next time I take it in to get the oil changed, I need to ask them, I don't know how well it's come across on the camera, but it's got all these kind of like spider sort of cracks in it. You can't feel them, but it's only in this one. It's not in the other one. And I have noticed them, and they seem to be getting worse. And it seems like they were starting just a couple months after I bought the truck. So that door handle I'm not loving. The Wi-Fi is kind of a pain in the neck. And then here's the final one, which I know, yeah, every single time I do one of these videos, I explain it. This truck's getting somewhere, I think it's about 14 to 15 miles per gallon now. Now with the price of gas where I live is about $4.50 per gallon. It's expensive. It's expensive. This is a 38 gallon truck, which, or has a 38 gallon tank, but that means that when you go to the gas station, it might cost $120, $130, $140 to fill this thing up. So it's a little bit crazy on the gas situation, and 14, 15 miles per gallon, depending on how I'm driving, is kind of a bummer. And that's one of the reasons I'm thinking with the 2022, we're gonna see what comes out. I'd love if the TRD Pro comes out and it has a beautiful interior. All the things on the Platinum is now on the TRD Pro. And also with that, we get the hybrid. I might trade this in. What I would actually do is sell it privately, but we'd get rid of this truck and go get a 2022 TRD Pro. We'll see. We also have to see what the cost is on that. This truck was $55 when I bought it. I've already been offered almost $10,000 more than that just because there's been such a shortage on the trucks. But let's say I could get the same price, $55, and let's say the TRD Pro comes out at like $65. I don't know, it might even be like at $70, guys. I'm not really sure. And now that I say that out loud, I don't know if that makes sense or not. I do not have money coming out my ears, but I have saved up a long time and want to make sure that I get the truck. Honestly, I want the truck of my dreams is what I'm going for here. So we will see. And also I'd like to see what that gas mileage is going to be on the TRD Pro, right? Is it 25? Is it 27? You know, that might make it worth it, going from 15 and adding on 10 or 12 miles per gallon. That might make it worth it. Also, we can see what it does for the power on the vehicle as well. So we'll do one more walk around. Again, loving the truck. As I walk around, we can count all the little dings, all the little nicks. And I have to say, when the first couple went in, I was kind of like, ooch, ouch. And now I'm kind of like, all right, you know, part of being a human being and not being overly protective of the truck and letting the truck be a truck. And 3 kids and a dog that likes to stick its head out the window. But the overall big picture is, guys, this is an absolutely beautiful truck that I'm absolutely loving. If you are shopping for one of these used, think about getting the 2020, maybe the 2021. Now, if that's out of your price range, I understand how you have to move down, but understand there are some changes. Even though this is a very dated truck and you hear everyone say this is the truck that's been around forever, they have made incremental changes to it in a positive direction, right? I talked about the radio antenna no longer being up there. Yep. And some of the interior features, some of the exterior features. So there's little things that have kind of bumped their way up as this truck has progressed, you know, the little bit that it has. All right, friends, hey, why don't I wrap it up by just telling you a few of the changes that I have made. I'm not a big fan of the chrome, and I can't decide on those wheels. Part of me is like, maybe just keep them, but I'd really, really like to get an upgraded wheel, all black, go into some BFG KO2s, something like that. I don't know, maybe Nitto Ridge Grappler, something like that, but we'll see on that one. So a couple of the changes that I've made is this came with the mirror caps in chrome, and I switched those out. I'll put a link down in the description to where I did those. Quick, easy, low cost relatively. And the Platinum is now blacked out. So that came out pretty nice. I'd love to black out the handles, by the way. I haven't quite figured out how I'm gonna do that one, but we'll see how that goes. The 4x4 that's under there has been blacked out. All right, my friends, we'll end the video here. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're interested in this truck, make sure you subscribe. Look at the playlist under Tundra Build, and I've got a whole bunch more, everything from first impressions of this truck, the 3-month, 6-month, I think I did a 9-month review on this truck, each time giving a little bit different, and some of the same information, but a little bit different information as well. Absolutely fantastic truck. If you are shopping for a used truck, I strongly recommend going with this truck. Going into like the Chevys, the Fords, the Dodges, you're not gonna get the reliability that you get with this vehicle. All right, my friends, we'll see you next time. Bye for now.